So, to the surprise of, I think, literally everyone, we just got news out of JUMP Festa, probably the biggest news of JUMP Festa, now that I think about it, that One Piece is getting a remake, despite the fact that both the anime and the manga are still ongoing. So, what is going on here? Why are they remaking an anime that isn't over yet? It's interesting. This is, again, something I don't think anyone ever would have predicted. Plenty of people wanted this, and I think a lot of people are happy and excited and doing a lot of speculation regarding this, which is basically what we're going to do in this video. But yeah, like, this is such a rarity. So let's go over what we actually know about this, which ultimately is very little. It's going to be called The One Piece. So of course, The One Piece is real. It is going to be an ONA on Netflix, coming out at some point in the future. We don't have a date yet. And it's going to be done by Studio Wit, which is interesting. I mean, this is really the first time we're going to see One Piece done by a different studio, not counting the really obscure like pilot that I think it was Production IG did back before Toei picked up One Piece, but like very few people have seen that. It's going to be very interesting to see what One Piece looks like with a different studio at the helm, especially one like Wit, which obviously is a very competent studio. That being said, I do wonder how committed to this Wit is going to be, just because they do kind of have a track record recently of passing on continuing shows that they started. You know, obviously the ones that come to mind initially are Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga, which both eventually got passed over to MAPPA. But even things like The Ancient Magus' Bride, you know, Wit did season 1, everything after has been Kafka. They have a tendency to do this, to start something and then give it over to someone else, which I guess could mean that we might see like One Piece done by MAPPA at some point in the future, which would be very hilarious. But even if that doesn't happen, I do wonder if Wit is really going to be able to do this all the way through, especially because the intention behind this remake is, as they have said, to eventually do all of One Piece. Right now, they're going to start with the East Blue specifically. Now, are they going to do all of the East Blue in one go? Or are they going to do it in chunks? Like, are we going to get like the intro arc, and then like a few months later get Usopp, and then a few months later get Sanji, and a few months later get Arlong Park? Like, are they going to do it in bits? Or are we going to get everything up through Logtown all at once? I don't know. We don't know. But that's what we're getting right now. Technically, we don't know for a fact if we're going to get, say, Alabasta, Skypiea, etc. But that's the intention. The intention is to do all of those arcs and to eventually, however many years down the road, 10, 15 years down the road, or however many it takes for One Piece, the manga to end, to have all of One Piece readapted. That is the intent. I just don't know if Wit will be willing to carry that through. We'll find out, of course. But they have effectively admitted, like, they know this is going to take a long time. In the announcement we got for this, which does feature a trailer that doesn't really give us anything, and a singular key visual, we know that they plan to ideally do all of One Piece again, presumably make it manga accurate, although we don't know. They might try and change things up a bit, add their own spice, rearrange some stuff. We don't know. But for now, we're going to start with East Blue. The reason why I want to clarify that is because a lot of people have misinterpreted this announcement to mean they are only doing East Blue. That's not true. Right now, they're doing East Blue, but they fully intend to, ideally, and obviously things could change, things could come up, plans could change. As of this moment, they want to do all of One Piece at some point, however long that might take. So this is obviously very strange to have the manga and the Toei anime and this anime all running at the same time. But I kind of get it, because there are a lot of issues with the Toei anime. Not just inconsistency in terms of character designs and style, the animation quality, the pacing, and yes, of course, there is filler. Like, One Piece is notable in that it doesn't have a terribly high percentage of filler compared to other long-running shonen, especially things like Naruto and Bleach. But because it has such a high episode count, you know, well over 1,000 episodes, you know, the like 10% of filler it has results in like over 100 episodes of filler. So cutting that out is going to make the idea of watching One Piece a lot more palatable to people. But also you have the fact that Toei really drags out pacing. You know, the fact that they're at the point of doing like one chapter per episode instead of like 3 or 4 is ridiculous. But even putting all that aside, you still have the fact that Toei has this awful tendency, and they've had it for a very long time. Like, you can go back and watch Skypiea episodes and you will see this. They love to have very extended recaps at the beginning of each episode, meaning if you're watching a bunch of One Piece episodes in a row, you are going to see the exact same thing you just saw for the last however many minutes of the previous episode in the beginning of the next episode. It is really, really frustrating. It means you aren't really getting a full 20-ish minutes of content when you watch an episode of One Piece. So there is a lot that you can trim and compress if you're remaking One Piece because of how atrocious Toei's pacing for it has been, especially recently. So there are a lot of reasons that this is promising. But we do need to keep in mind that once all is said and done, once One Piece is completely over for all three of these versions, for the manga, for Toei, and for Wit's anime, it is still going to be a massive show. Like this version, it may not be as long as Toei's, but it is still going to be crazy long because that's just the kind of story One Piece is. And I do think people need to keep that in mind, that this is not going to be like 100 episodes. This is still going to be hundreds and hundreds of episodes. And depending on how long One Piece ultimately goes, who knows, maybe it will be 1,000 episodes still. It'll be less than Toei's version, but it will still be very long. But I think that there is a renewed interest in watching One Piece. And as always, a lot of people do not want to watch the anime or the manga because it just feels like so much. And it is, right? Like you can't blame anyone for not doing that. I myself, I saw a lot of One Piece, but I have not watched the majority of it. Like I've jumped around a bit, but I've basically seen nothing post time skip. A lot of that's because I don't like how the animation looks. I don't like how the character designs look. I don't like the pacing. Like I could not be really enticed to watch One Piece now, even though I have very fond memories of watching the older episodes of One Piece when I was growing up. So as much as I care about the show and as much as it means to me, like I could never see myself conceivably watching all of One Piece as it is now. And that's someone who has an attachment to it. People who don't, it's hard to really make them want to watch One Piece as it is. Giving them a brand new version of it so that they can start now and not feel like it's as daunting, because, you know, if Wit puts out 20 episodes on Netflix and you can go watch them, you can say, hey, I am caught up to this version of One Piece, and that is going to be much more palatable to people. I also think that with the success of live action One Piece on Netflix, I think Netflix really wanted to double dip and have more One Piece. And I think you had a lot of people who saw the live action, liked it, wanted to start the anime, and then were like, this is way too long, I'm not doing it. Now you can direct these people to this new version. I think it's pretty fair to say if Netflix live action One Piece had not done well, this might not be happening, or at the very least it might not be happening right now. You know, maybe much later down the line there would have been a remake of One Piece. I don't think it'd be happening right now if the live action had not done well. So I think they're capitalizing on a desire for there to be more One Piece and for people to have an easier way to start it. And this will provide that for people. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say other than speculation, like, because we don't know what the character designs are going to be. We don't know what the voice casts are going to be. There's been a lot of discussion about, is the entire Japanese cast going to come back, or are they going to want to get mostly new people, or are they going to keep like Luffy's voice and make everyone else new? The English dub, are we going to get the entire Funimation Crunchyroll cast back, or are they going to recast it? You know, this is Netflix, and Netflix unfortunately has a history, if you look at something like Evangelion, of them not getting the original cast back when they want to do their own dub. So they might just grab people from LA and say, you're now the cast for One Piece for this version, which some people might like. I think most people would not like. So there's a lot of things we just don't know and won't know for a while. Is this going to be 20-minute episodes? Are they going to be hour-long episodes? We just don't know. There's so much to speculate about, which I think makes this very exciting. It's also it's kind of funny. This is going to be the 5th version of the East Blue story that you can experience, because you have the manga, you have the Toei anime, you have the live action, but you also have Toei's remakes that they've been doing every so often of older One Piece arcs. You know, they started with the Alabasta and Drum Island ones, which were movies 8 and 9, but then they've done these specials every so often. They did Arlong Park, and they did Skypiea, and they did the East Blue as well. So, like, this is going to be the 5th version of the East Blue story, which is a little funny that you have so many different ways to experience it, but I think there is a lot to look forward to this, and I think a lot of people who have been reluctant to watch One Piece or experience One Piece in general will do it. And it may very well get me to finally sit down and re-experience One Piece once again. That being said, what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited? Are you someone who has seen a lot of One Piece, and are you happy to see this again? Do you feel like this is too much One Piece? You know, the same thing again and again and again? Or are you someone who has been afraid to watch One Piece and this is going to get you to watch One Piece? And just what are your thoughts on this? What speculation do you have? Because all we can really do now is speculate. So leave all your thoughts and your speculation down in the comments below. You know, 20 years from now, what are we going to look back on regarding this new adaptation and say about it? So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Until next time, take care everyone. Look forward to the next video.